Why are Macs better than PCs? Well, this one won't be controversial. My name is Dave Cullen, aka Lax78 from ComputingForever.com, standing in for Mr. Dave Cryer, because you can never have too many Dave C's on one YouTube channel. In this video, we'll explore why Apple's Mac OS X operating system and Mac lineup are better than Microsoft's ubiquitous Windows OS. Now, invariably, when you make these kinds of arguments, you will be criticized from one side for demonstrating a biased allegiance towards one brand or platform. You'll be labeled a fanboy, and that is sadly inevitable and unavoidable. I use both Windows and Mac operating systems regularly, so I'm gonna have to break this down into a kind of pros and cons based argument. I think it's important to remember that blindly following one brand over the other is ridiculous and a bit sad. These are, after all, corporations who build products and services that help consumers do work and entertain themselves. Nothing more. And if I felt that Windows 8 was better than OS X for my business, I would go with that, but it isn't. So, let's begin. First things first, the UI. Even following the recent launch of Apple's OS 10.10 Yosemite operating system, you can see that it hasn't changed significantly in terms of overall desktop layout since as far back as the old OS 9 days. It's just received a few visual design updates. The simplicity of the dock, location of taskbar functions, and the mechanics of the Finder are tried and tested formulas. They work well, and that's why OS X remains a classic design. Each iteration from Puma to Yosemite has brought us an improved user experience with a raft of new and exciting features. The design of Windows remained relatively unchanged from Windows 95 to Windows Millennium, and then received graphical updates with Windows 2000 and XP. Microsoft's interpretation is also to be applauded for its own unique and easy-to-use approach, and it could be argued that Windows Explorer is more functional than the Finder with quicker access to features. The Finder tries to keep everything neat and tidy within a series of drop-down menus that are certainly aesthetically pleasing, but tricky to find everything. Also, a major gripe I've always had with the Mac has been how the taskbar works relative to the application you are using. With Windows, you are never in doubt as to the primary application that's running, but with the Mac, you can have a number of applications sitting in front of you, and you have to keep an eye on the taskbar to know which application you're currently working with. It can take a little time for former Windows users to get up to speed on this critical difference. Now, I won't go into the reasons as to why Windows Vista was considered a creative, technical, and commercial failure, other than saying that it was a creative, technical, and commercial failure, but it did bring with it a beautiful and slightly OS X inspired UI. Although, to be fair, it's not like anyone can really criticize Microsoft for copying, considering Apple got its idea for the graphical user interface with files, folders, and mouse input from Xerox in the 1980s. Anyway, the reason I believe OS X wins the UI battle here is because Windows 8's modern UI is a disaster. I'll give Microsoft some credit for refusing to compromise their PC desktop experience for tablet computers. They didn't go down the road Apple did by having two separate operating systems. They wanted users to be able to have their cake and eat it. One OS to rule all devices, desktop, laptop, and tablet. An OS built for touch and mouse and keyboard input. But while the modern UI is certainly innovative and unique, it's basically a nuisance within the desktop setting, and the elimination of the start button makes the OS infuriating to work with. There are two separate environments now, and it's a jarring transition between the two of them. The modern UI feels like a tacked-on touch layer on top of a neutered version of Windows 7. Score 1 for OS X. When it comes to compatibility, gaming, and the broad spectrum of applications and utilities from third parties, Windows wins outright. Although Apple's Mac App Store has helped to close the gap significantly. Windows is the most popular OS primarily because the computers made by various manufacturers are simply a lot cheaper, and this has made them more of an attractive choice for consumers and businesses. Macs do have that unforgiving Apple tax to contend with. Heck, you can even build a PC for cheaper and with better specs than the monstrously powerful Mac Pro. But it is worth noting that Macs aren't quite as overpriced as they may appear at first glance. Apple don't sell underpowered machines. They tend to only ship higher-end computers to begin with, and their iMac lineup, for example, is an all-in-one which includes a display built into the computer, so it's not like you can compare it to the average and affordable tower-based desktop PC. Software compatibility remains a massive strength for Windows due to its incredible popularity, but as a result, it's also more prone to viruses, trojans, malware, spyware, all that kind of stuff. But don't think for a second that Macs also don't get viruses, because they do, just a lot less. OS X also managed to unify its applications such as iLife, iCloud Drive, and iWork in an ecosystem that is stable, compatible, and easy to use. By contrast, there seems to be more fragmentation within Windows apps, especially because Windows 8 RT and 8 Professional aren't compatible with each other, and although things do run well enough, Because Apple control both the hardware and software more closely, they seem to have produced a more refined user experience. For creative professionals, the Mac remains the best platform to be on, as there's just so many applications and suites designed to run solely for that system. In addition, although there are plenty of well-built and premium quality computers out there running Windows, many of them in the cheaper bargain basement end of the market suffer from below par build quality and specifications that don't allow for the operating system to be run to its fullest potential. Those Windows 8 tablets that run Intel Atom processors may be capable little machines, but they lack the horsepower to truly showcase Windows to its best advantage. Conversely, all of Apple's Mac lineup make use of Core series processors, so you'll never discover to your horror upon opening your new machine that it underperforms at basic to moderately taxing tasks. So guys, those are the reasons why I believe that OS X has a slight advantage over Microsoft's Windows. But do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let me know below in the comments. Of course, please hit that like button and subscribe to the Geekanoids channel by hitting that big yellow subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and let the flame war commence.
Thank you very much for watching. If you want to see another video of mine, please do click the annotation on the top of your screen now, and also you can click the annotation on the bottom of your screen and subscribe to the Geekanoids channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all again next time.